Hi everybody, it's Craftin Just Because with Chris Cowan, and I'm here today to bring you another of the 12 Days of Christmas. And today we're going to be playing with the Snowflake Wishes bundle. Great stamp set, has tons of snowflakes, some beautiful sayings, and then it has some coordinating dies that go with it. And what's fun is it's got like this nested label die, and the snowflake in the middle doesn't go in the middle. It just was stuck there. And then it has smaller ones, bigger ones, and then you could layer them on top of each other. So great, great bundle. And we're also going to be using the Snowflake Splendor Designer's paper to create this extra large gift bag. So as you guys know, if you've been following me, I like to make things to gift to people, gifts. And so what I did is I created this using two 12 by 12 pieces of cardstock, and then we used one sheet of the designer series paper that's 8 3/4 by 8 3/4. And then I went ahead and die cut some of the snowflakes out of the glimmer paper that we have in this suite of product as well, the balmy blue. And then I used some Highland Heather, I apologize, not Highland Heather. I used some Purple Posy cardstock, and I did something kind of different. I cut out around this nested piece so that I can pop up this other piece, and it kind of looked a little funny at first, but when I added the snowflakes with my rhinestones, it was absolutely gorgeous, and I fell in love with it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This actually is a super simple project. You're going to need to bring in your paper trimmer, and then you're going to need your 2 pieces of cardstock that are 12 by 12. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to score both of them the same way, okay? So you're going to want to score at a 1/2 inch and then 3 inches. So what I like to do is I start out with my 1/2 inch on the right hand side, score, and then I flip it around, and then I take it to the 3 inch score line. Okay. Then you're going to rotate it 90 degrees and do the same thing. You want to score it at a 1/2 inch. And then at 9.5 inches. Okay. So now we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to score it at a 1/2 inch. And then at 3 inches. And then we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. I just want to make sure I get my paper right, so I'm just laying it out here. Hold on just a second, because sometimes I mess this part up, so I'm going to tell you how I did it to make sure that yours turns out perfect every time. Okay, so we're going to score it at a 1/2 inch here. Hold on. Okay, so you want your skinny part up at the top. You're going to score it at a 1/2 inch, and then at 9.5 inches. Okay, sorry, I didn't want to mess up on that. Then you're going to take your paper, and you still need to score it one more time. And hold on, I'm going to tell you how to do that. Okay, so you want your 2 score lines that are the 1/2 inch and the 3 inch side on your right hand side, and you're going to score with your paper at 1 1/4. So your 1/2 inch, I flipped it over, your 1/2 inch and 3 inch score line are on your left hand side, okay? And you're gonna score it at 1 1/4, or sorry, 1 3/4, down to the 5. Okay. And then I'm gonna do the same with my other piece, making sure I have my paper in right. So that's on my right hand side. I'm gonna put it at 1 3/4 down at the bottom, and I'm gonna score it to my 5 inch mark there. Okay, now you're done with your paper trimmer. We're gonna get rid of that. Now what I want you to do is I want you to burnish your, well, no, we're not burnishing our score lines yet. We're gonna take the point where we ended at 5 and go diagonally to the intersecting diagonal to make a triangle so that the box can collapse if you didn't want to have it out just yet. Okay. Uh-oh, did I score that? Yeah, whoops, went a little deep. Now we're gonna do the same thing on the other piece. And then we're gonna burnish all these score lines. Like I said, this is a super simple, super easy project. And it's, what I like about it is it's so sturdy. You could put, you know, something heavier in it and it'll withstand the weight of that. Okay, let's do the other piece really quick. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our ruler, and on that 1/2 inch score line, we want to mark it at 3 inches and 6 inches, and we're going to do both pieces the exact same. Those are going to be the holes for our ribbon, for our handle. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to bring in your hole punch, and you're going to fold that in half, and you're going to make a 1/2 circle right at those pin marks. Just like that. Do the same thing on this one. Okay. Okay. I didn't cut my paper down, so let's cut our paper down, our designer series paper. You could choose which side you want. I'm kind of thinking, no, I like this side. So you want your designer series paper cut at 8 3/4 by 8 3/4. So let's go ahead, trim that. Trim that. So those are the pieces you'll have left to do with another project. Okay, before we add that designer series paper on, we're going to cut up the bottom rectangle off and tab this edge. And that little square at the top. Okay. And then we're going to cut up this score line. And then we got to do the same thing to our other side. So we're going to cut up this rectangle and cut it off. Tab and cut off the square here. And then cut up the remaining score line. Just like that. Okie dokie. So now what we're going to do is we're going to adhere this together at the tabs. You want to use a strong glue for this project. So whether that be your liquid multi-purpose glue or tear and tape or your Stampin' Adhesive Plus. Okay. And then you determine which one you want to be your front. I think I want this side to be my front. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down my designer series paper. And you could decorate this as much as you want. That's what I love about making handmade gift wrap. You can go all out. You can make it simple. Okay, now before we glue it together, I'm going to show you how to do the handles. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to bring in your ribbon. I'm using the Pool Party ribbon. And I'm going to cut a couple pieces here, and I'll tell you how long of the pieces are that I cut. They are about 16 inches long. Okay. And what you're going to do is on one end, at the very tip, you're going to make a couple knots. And you don't want it to be too fat because you're going to cover it up with this little lip that we made at the top, so you won't see the ugly end of the ribbon. Then you're going to thread it through from the back. Pull it through, then pull it through the front, from the front. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to make 2 little knots at the end. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. Thread it through. Sometimes I have to use like a poker or my scissor to poke it through with these silly nails sometimes. Okay, so do the same thing on this end. Okay. Now what you're gonna want to do is, this time, instead of using my liquid multi-purpose glue, I am going to bring in my tear and tape, and I'm going to add tear and tape to this flap. Okay. And then I'm also going to add it at the very edge, so it's like double tabbed here, right at the score line. And the reason being, let me get all this backing off, is we want our thread, I'm going to put the ribbon on that sticky, and we're going to fold it up, and it'll be glued down so it shouldn't come out of the bag. So it's just a nice way to give a finishing look to your bag, but also to secure that ribbon down. So let's do the same thing on this side. Okay, then we'll take that release paper off. Make sure that ribbon's stuck down, and then fold that up. Okay. Now we're just going to add adhesive here to this tab. And I'm going to show you how to secure the bottom as well, so that you get, one, a clean look on the inside of the bag, but also a sturdier bag. Okay, so they line up perfectly. That's what you always want. You want it to line up perfectly on that edge. Okay. Now, I always like to put the front, my front of the bag to me, so I'm going to put that flap down. What we're going to do is we're going to put the back down first, then the tabs, and then the front on, okay? So we're going to put adhesive just on these flaps. Glue it down. Adhesive on this flap. Glue it down. Now we're going to put adhesive on that front flap. And then glue it down. And then you're going to flip it over. And I like to put my arm in and press down on that. So see how it's a nice finished look on the inside of the bag? Okay, now we're going to put it on its side. Now if you wanted to, you could collapse the bag, so you could fold in just like this. And collapse the bag. Okay, so now we're going to decorate it. Now we're going to bring in our pieces here. So I went ahead and pre-die cut some snowflakes out of the balmy blue glimmer paper. And then remember I told you I cut out, so see how it's not so pretty, but we're going to cover those up with snowflakes. And then we're going to stamp on this piece. So I just got to make sure, yeah, it goes like that. Okay. So let's go ahead and glue down this frame. Glue it right down onto that front of the card, or front of the bag. I said card at first. Okay. Then we're going to take our Pacific Point ink pad, and we're going to take a sentiment from this, and let's see. I think I'm going to put, our friendship is one of a kind. So I'm going to put my stamp out. Get a block. Stamp that right on down into the center. Oh, I can't believe I did that. Oh man. Let's see if I can match it up. If not, oh man, I'm kind of stuck. Oh, I did it. Oh my gosh, that's a miracle. Yay. It's a little off centered, or maybe it just looks that way because of the orientation of it. Oh yay, I'm so excited. I love when things turn out like that. Otherwise I was gonna have to die cut that. Okay. Anyway, we've got that down. Now we're gonna put this up on Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna use a bunch of dimensionals, and these are my minis. I ran out of the big ones. Okay. And we're gonna place that right on down into the center of that nested shape. And then we'll glue our snowflakes around it. Ah, really? Okay. So there we go. We have it nice and layered up. I thought it just gave it a nice little extra touch. I'm going to save one of the big snowflakes to tie around the handle. And then I'm going to glue the other snowflakes down on those corners. So just like that. And sometimes you have to press it down a little bit because it is glimmer paper. But I will tell you this, the new die cutting machine cuts this glimmer paper so incredible. So now I don't think those edges look too funky. I think it looks cute. Now I'm going to add in some rhinestones into the centers of those. And I think I'm going to go with the bigger ones just so you could see them better. Okay, but wait, we're not done, not yet. Then I brought in some of the ribbon from the Forever flowers, that's the blue and the white twine. And I'm going to tie it around one of the handles, and then I'm just going to thread it through one of the holes here in the snowflake. Just like this, and then cut it off and tie a knot. And then you could cut off the ends just like that. So that's our project for today, you guys. I'm going to bring both of them out so you could see what we did. So I changed up the ribbon because I wanted to use the ribbon that was in that combo pack, or that matched that paper. And then I changed up the saying on there as well. But I love how it turned out. I cannot wait to gift these to my friends. And I hope you enjoyed our project. If you're new to my channel and you liked what you saw, push the subscribe button and also the bell notification, and it'll remind you of any future videos that I have. Until next time, you guys, I hope you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.